are in the junkyard. Please excuse the camera quality because I forgot my Osmo at the shop. So we are in the Japanese section of U-Pick Parts, my favorite yard. And so they have like a different style of tensioner on like most of these cars than they do with the American cars. So I was walking around here. I found one in a Camry, but it looked kind of rickety, and then like the bracket was too big and not really linear like that, you know. So I found this this Subaru Outback. That's it. It's Outback, and right in here, right in this area here, there's a tensioner right in there, and I took it out. It was only two 12mm bolts. See it? Boom. So I was like, okay, this maybe could work, because it's got two bolts on the top to mount it, and if it goes this way, maybe I could make some sort of cavity in there to kind of make it work. But yeah, it's got you know, tensions down this way, so I don't know, maybe I could make some sort of aluminum block or something to make this work and bring it out to the right distance without too much issues, because I still got like a gang of aluminum left over. So that's the move. All right. We're at the Pomona Swap meet out here in Pomona, California. Yeah, this is just like me stepping out real quick before I go to back to the shop to go work on Mayhem. All right. So boom. Lots of Chevy stuff out here. A lot of Chevy guys. Hopefully we can find like our little sprint of Ford here and there, you know. Little spritz of Ford.
Get the little base for your pickup, yeah.
What about the
Exactly, that's what I mean. But I said that. Thank you.
There he is. Ooh.
Hey, I got something here I can sell you for $40.
Check it out.
Oh, you're gonna take it with a magnet, huh?
Yeah, right. Oh man. Yeah, look at that. That's deal of the day right there.
Oh man.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
$8. I can't believe it.
I wish. Oh man, you see me doing cartwheels out of here.
Oh,
now.
For that? I paid $8.
No.
Well, it's aluminum, so.
I bought one yesterday for $4.
You did?
I did.
I'm back in the shop. We're back working on Project Mayhem. I had to take a quick break off of it to work on my man Steve. He ordered a GT40 intake from junkyarddolls.com. So I had to drill and tap it and clean it up for him. So I'm gonna send it out to you, Steve. Thank you for visiting and using the site. And yeah, there'll be some more stuff up. So I appreciate everybody who commented and left ideas for the supercharger pulley setup or whatever. All right, so we're back from the junkyard with the stuff that I picked up. So these are the components. I cleaned it up a little bit. It's got this piece here that kind of sits in the middle. I left the pulley. The pulley was actually like a really thin little like 2-rib pulley. I think it's for an AC compressor. But basically how this works is it sits and the pulley goes through and it kind of rests on this area here. And then it goes through here, and then this slot sits in the slot here, boom, like that. So when you tighten this bolt, it goes up and down, and then it gets tightened or loosened, right? Now, my only issue that I found with this is that, first of all, that what I didn't like is how it rocks. I'm thinking that once the pulley's on there, it's gonna wanna, you know, rock or whatever. Now here's a pulley that I picked up from an Explorer, but this is the one with the lip on it, which I might change the other two on the car to the same style with the lip on it. Might help keep the belt in place, I don't know, especially high RPM. It's a little bit of extra protection. and everything's the same size and same direction, same everything, right? So what's crazy about this is that all the cars, even though they're different, they tend to use like these standard kind of like bearings. Like check this out. The inside hole of these look pretty close. And then what's crazy is this is from a Subaru. These are from Ford. And they fit perfectly in both of them. So that's how I could tell that these bearings are from a third-party company that makes them and has a contract with these automotive manufacturers. So anyway, because Subaru apparently uses the same one as the Fords and the Chevys, and pretty much everybody uses the same bearing company. So anyway, what's crazy is this fits right in. Problem is that the way this is designed, by the time it goes through, it doesn't, see, it's rubbing, right? So what I could do, if I was planning to use this, I could make this again with an extension on it, and then that way once it goes through it'll come out a little further and it would hang out. But for some reason, I don't know, deep down I just feel like this is not going to be stable enough. Like it just kind of feels rickety to me because it doesn't have like a bunch in its factory state, like in this state. It doesn't have a lot of inertia on it. It's just a AC compressor. It's not really a big thing. But we're talking about two superchargers which have rotors on the inside that have to be rotated. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. So what my other idea was, here's the pulley bolt right here. I'm thinking, so here's a washer, goes like this, like that, and then the washer goes in like that, the bolt goes like that. And then we have on the back end here another washer that goes, oops, it's all backwards. Another washer that goes in like that, okay? So that's so you can get full rotation. And just like the other pulleys, you have this washer there to kind of keep it from bottoming out on the bearing. So I got this block of aluminum that was left over from the base of the, oh actually this wasn't from the base, this was from the dual idler setup. So what I was thinking about doing is cutting out a shape, and let me see if I can draw it on here to get an idea of what I'm talking about. And this is just piggybacking on what my man Cliff showed me, right? So I was thinking about cutting out a shape that's similar to kind of like this, right? Like that. And then have the pulley roll in like that. Now on this, I would have these grooves, right? Like, or these kind of, let me see if I can get it. So it'd be like these little teeth. So I'd machine out these teeth. Obviously this would be a little thicker, but it'd be like these little teeth. And then the plate would have the grooves in it. And in the middle here would be a hole for a bolt. So in the middle of the plate there'll be a slot, but it goes all the way through. So the slot goes all the way through, so you can put the bolt through, so you can slide it up and down, right? Then we'll have some more slots to match these sides here, so that it'll slide up and down and stay in that slot, so it won't want to go that way. And then we could get a bolt on the top to kind of crank it down to get it to the right tension. And then once we get to the right tension, we lock this bolt down, right? We lock that bolt down, and then we lock the top bolt down, and boom, it's in there. So I think we could do this with just a little bit of machining. I could just make one. You know, I got the aluminum, it's here, and then the bolt that comes from the top like this would have like maybe a block that's bolted to the top of the plate too, and then the bolt would just kind of go through a hole and then go down to the top here to loosen and tighten it, so it's slide up and down these grooves. All right, so I think I give it, like, I don't even need to give it that much travel. I would say like maybe 2 to 3 inches of travel to get the belt on and off. And yeah, so we gotta do a little machining. So let's pull that plate all the way back off again. Let's take off the idler pulleys and start to figure this out. Okay, so just to kind of get an idea, drawing wise on this plate, what I mean, so right here in the center where the pulley's gonna go, it's gonna be a slot, right? Please excuse my drawing skills, they're not the best. So, there's gonna be a slot there where the bolt goes through, right? And then there's gonna be 2 slots on each side to where the block can slide up and down and stay in those slots. That's to keep it from twisting and rocking back and forth. Then I would have a block on the top here with a bolt that goes through the top of that bolt and it meets that little block with the pulley on the bottom of it. And the pulley I can make come out to the right distance. Before I do all that crazy machining and everything, I make sure I measure the distance from the pulley. So I would machine it and then kind of measure it off of this back plate here to have it come out to the right distance. And that way, when I make the plate up the top here, I can kind of just screw the bolt and it'll come down to where I want it. And boom, we in the game. Whew, it's hard to explain, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're not using the spring tensioner at all. We're using a mechanical style setup. And I just kind of used the Japanese cars that I saw as just as ideas to kind of jog my brain as to how I could do this. And like I said, my homeboy Cliff, big shout out to him. He gave me a huge help as far as the ideas how to get this done. All right, so let's get to it. So the idea is to have this sitting in the middle like that. I'm trying to get it down to around here so we can get the most wrap on this as possible. I'd like for it to really wrap around like that. Damn near the whole pulley. Get it down here. Same thing with this side. Okay, so it's really kind of tight. So I'm thinking the block's gonna come, it's gonna be around here. And then the tightening block's gonna be up here. And just have just a small little block up here, and then that way it can go down and up. So, yeah, you get the idea. All right, so I put the idler pulley setup back in. And I set this up where it only goes in one way too, because the bolts are kind of offset in a way. So just in case anybody's wondering how I know which side is which, this is set up a certain way. Anyway, we got our idler on our little aluminum block here. And slides in, boom. All right, right in the grooves. Doesn't have barely any rotation, not even. I would say probably about maybe maybe about 6 or 7 thou. So that's enough. And let me check the belt. See if the belt lands in the right place. a whole other issue. Belt lands there. Looks like it does. The thing about this pulley, it's got a wide area, so if you make a mistake, you're good. But yeah, so the next thing to do is, since I got the height and everything where I want it, there's gonna be a block right here with a bolt that goes through, like a bolt like this length. This is a head bolt. I might use this, but I'm gonna clean it up. So the bolt will go through the block, and then I'd have to weld something to kind of lock this bolt in to the aluminum block. So it just spins, but it doesn't go in and out. And once it's in place, yeah, like maybe I could put like a washer and then like weld a nut on there or something so that it'll spin. And then in this block, drill a hole that goes all the way through so that when I screw it up or down, it'll go up or down in whatever direction. Now here's where the issue lies with my design, is the bolt that I'm using to lock down back here can't intersect with this bolt that goes through. So I gotta figure out how far out the block should come, which, you know, so that I can get the bolt to kind of come closer towards the pulley. I think that'll add some stability as well as give me some more depth to this hole here where we had drilled and tapped the bolt previously. So I think that's what I'm gonna go with. So let's figure out this math here. It's back to the drawing board. We got this block here. I squared it up, got it down to the size that I kind of want. I do want it a little smaller than this. I'd rather, like I said before, extra than not enough. So these match as far as size goes. Boom. And I want a bolt around this length. Okay, I don't want it all high up here. Just something nice and tight. So that's the base. That's as low as it's gonna go on this side. It's as low as it's gonna go. So this bolt is gonna go through a hole in this and kind of rest on the top. And there should be another bolt on the bottom of this, or something to hold it in place. So as I screw, it just moves this and not the whole thing. Similar to how this is from the Subaru. See, this bolts to the, you know, you see these two holes, they bolt to the motor, and then there's a hole here that's loose, and then they got two lock nuts back there to keep the bolt from coming out as you're screwing up and down. But yeah, they don't, you know, just a little gap. So yeah. I got these two bolts here holding the block in place, and just like the Subaru setup, it has the nut and then the lock nut to keep the bolt in place while you have a threaded, I guess you'd say like a pulley bushing or whatever. So I did the same thing here. I've got the bolt, and then I got two nuts in here, and I put a washer in there just because it's going against aluminum. So I'm gonna screw it up and then lock the bolt, but with a little bit of slack so it can still move around without falling out. All right. Okay. So now I'm gonna tighten the tensioner. You'll see it moving up and down, right? So it could only come up so high. Like just like that. Okay, so boom, we got about an inch of travel. So let's go ahead, mount everything back up, and then put it on the car and see if this actually works. I got a suggestion from one of the guys in the comments to get a Gates belt. He said a Gates RPM, but I couldn't find that in time. I guess it's something I gotta order. I have this one, so I'm gonna use this for now. All right, so there it is. Belt is on. Now, I can't really get the belt tightness that I want because these are lunging forward. Even though I got the strap on the back, I just use the strap to line them up, but they're lunging, they're pulling forward, so I can't get the tension that I want just yet, you know, but that's fine. I had to buy a bunch of belts. I went to the hardware store like 5 times, but yeah, setup worked, looks good. I'm most likely gonna change these pulleys to one like this with the lip. I just see that this lip could be beneficial with a higher RPM setup because these are slick and they're a little bit more, in my opinion, prone to falling off or belt jumping off without like an actual lip there. So I got to junkyard some of those, but that's it. All right, so there you have it. Me messing around with the superchargers, got the pulley system set up. I've been like dreaming of trying it and like just imagining how I was gonna get this to work. Well, boom, there it is. All right. People were saying put an idler, don't put an idler in the middle and not like a tensioner or whatever. That's technically an idler. All I did was just set it up with mechanical, like with a mechanical system. So, yeah, there's only one way to find out. Let's see if this works. All right. So otherwise than that, I'm gonna go put the alternator back on, put the power steering pump back on, put that belt back on, and just to see how everything kind of comes together. And then I'm gonna consider getting another one of those brackets over there because the power steering pump bracket obviously got damaged in my trying to align the plate. But yeah, that's it. All right. So until next time, y'all, we out here junkyard dogging. Woo!